Welcome, everyone, to Energy Gal Holistic Wellness. I'm Lisa, intuitive healer and spiritual guide, and super passionate about creating a space for us to experience our spiritual awakening in a space of curiosity, compassion, and courage. You know, that adventure of discovering, remembering, and being who we are. Well, today it's Monday, and Monday is energy update and intuitive messages. So I've got three main points that I want to make for today that I am sensing is what we are experiencing or will be experiencing to some degree or another in this next week and on into the next few months. So here are the three phrases, and then I will pick them apart and suss them out just a little bit for us. The first one is information is not transformation. The second one is authenticity at all costs. And the third one is seen or recognized. All right, so let's return to the first message that I'm sensing, and that is information is not transformation. This has to do with another chakra that I think that is being turned on in the collective. So the first chakra is the base, the root chakra. Then we've got the sacral, we've got the solar plexus and the heart. And we travel up the body, up the spine to reach these chakras. Well, I have been for the past few years just focused on the heart chakra. Whenever I would do tarot, if the heart chakra came up, I'm like, oh, yeah, cool, you know. This is someone who is ready to be tuned in and turned on into what's going on in the collective. They're part of this wave of pioneers that's going forward. Well, lately, the color blue has been speaking to me, and this is all about the throat chakra. And a couple of weeks ago, I got the message that we would be sitting with each other without words and doing the most intimate thing of all, of just being with each other. And a friend of mine named Brian has been talking about mental telepathy and how we're going into a season of not speaking, but mental telepathy. And I think that that's what I was sensing those couple of weeks ago. So throat chakra has to do with words, with speaking, with manifesting, but born of the root chakra. This is where I am. I'm birthed into this experience. I'm worthy of being here. The sacral chakra, lots of creativity, lots of feeling down into the deep feels and moving through trauma. Solar plexus, I know who I am, and I am out of victim and lack and into abundance and God's spark. And then on up into the heart, which is unconditional love. Well, we're moving on up. We're moving on up. Remember that one show by the Jeffersons? Moving on up. Anyway, I digress. So we're moving on up into this throat chakra. And understanding that the way into turning on this throat chakra is not going to be top down. It can only happen from the root on up, because that's the way God wants it to be. You see, God has forgotten who it is and is waking up to its identity in us, but doing it from the root to the sacral, solar plexus, heart, and now into the throat. It's not going to do it from the crown to the third eye and down into the throat. So two things. It's not doing it from the mind, information, logic. It's not doing it from that place. It's doing it from experience. And wisdom is born of information that is experienced and then becomes wisdom. I keep hitting my microphone, so sorry about that, guys. So that's the direction that we're headed in. Bottom up, not top down, to wake up to who we are in that throat chakra and experience the truth of our identity from the root to the sacral, solar plexus, heart, and now on up into the throat. Okay? Where I do believe then the next is the third eye and then the crown, where we get into that mental telepathy and really, really wake up to who we are as abundance, as unconditional love, as source itself. But it happens starting at the root. There's no bypassing at all. So I've heard a couple of people in this past season say to me, I understand now that not everything can be logical that I choose to believe. Not everything can be logical that I choose to believe. Two very important people in my life who I think are very mental, very logical, very left brain have said, I'm starting to understand that understanding isn't the be all and end all. That sometimes things are true, but you don't understand them. And so you just receive them as truth and wait for the understanding to come later. I hope I'm making myself somewhat clear in that there'll be transmissions and downloads, energetic ways of receiving that, I don't want to say bypass the mind, but that what is the word I'm looking for? Because I'm a very mental person myself, as far as liking to formulate and talk and communicate. So I don't just throw my brain in the trash can and say, well, they said that's true, so I'm just going to believe it. But there is something, it's body-based wisdom. That's what it is. We're coming into a space of body-based wisdom. So you won't be just checking in with the mind. What you'll say is, how does this land in my body? So there's a body-based wisdom. We're turning on in our physical bodies, which is why we had to start from the root chakra. I am all over the place today. And this is like the fourth time I filmed this because the electronics weren't working. So I hope that I'm helping and not muddying up the waters all the more. Information is not transformation. We are coming online from the root chakra, not from the crown. And the throat chakra is being plugged in. We receive energetic downloads that the body receives as wisdom, that the mind might not necessarily understand, but is true nonetheless. So that's what I have to say about that. And that, like my friend Brian said, mental telepathy, intuitively feeling another person's energies is on the rise. Language is going to leave us thirsty for more. Okay. Boy, I could talk on and on about that one. Point number 2, authenticity at all costs. There is a coming around of saying, I have no tolerance for fake, pretend, surfacey anything. And that starts with our own selves. There is this rawness, this realness, a peeling away of the top layer that has been protective for a season, but now no longer serves. It's kind of like an orange. And the skin was on because it protects that juicy layer underneath. But there comes a time when you want to eat that orange and you peel away the skin and you eat that juiciness that's underneath. So there's this peeling away of this top layer of crustiness, of skin that it just no longer serves. It becomes a mask. And that begins with ourselves. We want to abide in our authenticity. That solar plexus on up into the heart space says, I remember who I am as God's spark, love, unconditional. And I have no interest in being anything but that. I am that I am. And I will be that at all costs. Authenticity at all costs. Because what happens in this space here is a deep vulnerability. But as you come out of judgment and shame and guilt, there is a free and open, wide open space for being able to be your absolute authentic self, totally vulnerable. And that is what is happening in this next season. And it can be a scary thing to come out from behind the masks. But once you have done it, there's no going back. There's no returning, because it's almost like your form changes shape, and what was before the masks, they don't even fit anyway. Even if you tried to put them back on, it wouldn't work. They no longer fit you. And again, these are just such deep concepts, deep waters. I ask that you hear them through the eyes of your heart. Yeah. Through the ears of your heart. See it and hear it through the eyes and the ears of your heart space, because that is where this is going to be landing. And then the last thing was seen or recognized. You know, for the longest time, we were in a season of wanting to be seen. And just the other day, midweek of last week, what I sensed within me stirring was this difference between I want to go to the next place now, and after being seen, you want to be recognized. It would be like, what's an analogy? Say I am showing you a pink rose, and I were to say, what do you see? And you'd say, well, a pink rose. But are you recognizing it as the pink rose that was grown in my garden this past summer? There is a deepening in the being seen that transcends just the eyes and goes again down into the heart space, that the seen becomes being recognized. The other person doesn't just see you, but in recognition, you are honored, you are valued, and you are validated. So we're coming into a season where it's not enough just to be seen, but to also be recognized. It'd be like looking at a baby picture, and you could say, well, yeah, I mean, I see a newborn baby. Or you look at the newborn baby and you recognize that as your nephew, or you recognize that as, oh my God, that's my own little baby, or that's me as a baby. So there's a difference. It's slight, but it's big. And that is what's unpacking to us also in this next season. And remember, it all starts with ourselves. We go from seeing ourselves to recognizing ourselves, because once we recognize ourselves, then that recognition is going to be reflected to us in our world, and other people around us are going to be recognizing us. And in that recognition, we will be honored, valued, and validated. So if you're finding yourself not seen or not recognized, not feeling valuable and validated or honored, it's because you don't yet for yourself. It's possible that you don't yet for yourself feel that. And that's showing up to let you know, ooh, see yourself, recognize yourself, honor, value, validate yourself, and this then will be reflected out in your world. Okay, let's do a quick review. First one, information is not transformation. We are coming online. in the throat chakra area, which cannot be done crown, third eye down, or from outside in. It has to come. The only way into that throat chakra is from the root on up and through each of those chakras and then into the throat chakra. And in this space, we're going to find ourselves increasing in our supernatural gifts of intuition, mental telepathy, and all the other things that go with it. We'll be abiding in a space of miracle signs and wonder. We will be in wonderland. It will be our norm. Number 2, authenticity at any cost. Starting with ourselves, we will be waking up to who we truly are. I am that I am, and we will not be any other way. The masks will no longer fit, nor would they even be a desire of our hearts. The desire of our heart is to be who we are, period. And in that space, we allow others to be who they are as well. And we get to then be curious about who they are and then say, hey, I'm a little bit of that then too. And then the third, seen or recognized. Coming through the season of being seen, which has been awesome, but then into an even deeper, higher, wider frequency of being recognized. And that starts with ourselves, and we will know that we're there because it's being reflected to us in our world. This is such a good and awesome space to be. November is so big with energies. November's almost like the December of the year. I look ahead to December and I think, okay, if we've done all of this in November, December is the frickin' party. December is to get together and eat, drink, and be merry. It's just a party because we have realized so much, manifested so much in November that December is all going to be about, let's just continue the integration and allow for the party. It's a good time to be alive, guys. It's a really good time to be experiencing this human journey on the earth, this soul awakening, spiritual, earthly experience. Best time ever. Okay, so it's a lot. Drink quality water. Understand this is a transmission, an energetic download to you that goes into your energies to be integrated. Don't worry about it here. Don't worry about it here. Like those 2 people in my life said, sometimes I'm understanding that the things that I'm believing don't necessarily need to be understood to be true. That there is a body consciousness. So take care of that body. Drink the water. Get in an Epsom salt bath. Sit by the big salt water if you can. Put your feet in some Epsom salts. Eat good quality food. Sleep if you need to. Go for a run if you need to. Sit under a tree. Okay? All these ways to help ground your energy. Yeah, oh my gosh, there's just so much more coming. I have some really good news. Here's an intuitive message that's just coming. I have some awesome, awesome news for some of you who feel that you are stuck in a loop of trying to figure things out, stuck in a loop of shadow work. That time is done. The frequency of the earth has come into a place where the shadow work looks different. The way that you discover, remember, and be who you are, it's different. It's less about going down into the depths, reaching onto that root, tugging at it, trying to pull it through, trying to figure things out. It's about getting with people who have already done that and are abiding in that frequency, and then you hang with them and they pull your frequency up to theirs. So be open and receptive to people who are at a frequency that is wonderland, and hang with them and allow yourself to be healed in that space. Like Jesus said, your faith has healed you. He didn't say I've healed you, but he said your faith healed you. You know, you reached out for a frequency that you knew would heal you. So hang out with a frequency that it just is a healing frequency, and let it happen. Not so much. Okay. That's a lot for me. So can you just take a deep breath in with me? And then breathe it out. Wow, you know what's going? Doubt is leaving. The frequency of doubt is ebbing. There is going to come a frequency of trusting in ourselves and what we know to be true that is going to squeeze out that doubt. So trust in. I don't even say doubt out. It's just joy. Joy unspeakable. One more in. And out. In some ways, I want to say, stop trying so hard. Stop trying so hard. Just let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Oh, let it be. Whisper words, wisdom. Let it be. I love you. And here's a hug.